Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? That's right. We're going to tell the story about the first deer, 1983. Yep. So my kids, again, aren't aware of this, and one of them is going to end up with that on their wall, I'm sure, someday. Probably be Chrissy. So it was 1983. I was living in Spokane, Washington. I had just moved into my own place up there on Route 5, Box 707. Lived out in the country as normal. And it was getting to be hunting season, but I was working a restaurant. Uh, it was Friday night. I had finally gotten permission to get off for the weekend. It took forever to get that. But so I called my brother up and I said, Bill, I said, I got off. We can go hunt the next 2 days. He said, well, you don't have a driver's license. You don't have a hunting license yet. I go, that's okay. If I get my hunt license, can we go? He said, yeah, okay. Well, he used to patronize a place called the White Elephant. Toys, guns, and yo-yos, I think is what they said. Or that was TGNY. But anyway, they only did cash or check, no credit cards. And this is, Bill went over there all the time, and this is where he shopped for guns and sporting equipment and stuff. So I called him up and I said, look, this is Don. I'm around the corner. I'm working. I can take a 15-minute break, but if you can fill out all of the information we need for my hunting license, I'll run over and pay for it and then get back in time. So I flipped the waitress, Dawn, $20 and said, look, if anybody comes in, buy them a round of drinks and I'll be right back. Well, first of all, the restaurant, we were slow anyway. So I got to keep my $20, by the way. So anyway, I ran over, got my hunt license, came back. Well, Saturday morning, drove up to 9 Mile Falls, jumped in the vehicle with Bill, and we drove up to near Chewelah, which from his house was about 18 to 20 miles or so. And we got situated out there in the woods, and we didn't see anything Saturday morning, and we drove back home for the afternoon, had lunch, went back out Saturday evening. Didn't see anything. Came back Sunday morning, same thing. Got up, drove back up. Sunday morning, though, I was crouched down. First time I was ever deer hunting. So I was like crouched down. I wasn't sitting on my butt. I was sitting kind of on my knees or whatever that is. And all of a sudden I heard a noise and I looked over, and not 20, 30 feet away, there was two bucks walking by me. Well, they spooked, ran down the hill, and I heard my brother shoot. And he missed. I didn't find that out till later. So Sunday afternoon, we drove back, about noon, 11 o'clock. We drove back to Spokane. 9 Mile Falls. And we got back to 9 Mile Falls. Mr. Benny wants to go potty. So let me take a pause for the cause. Okay, now that we got that taken care of. So anyway, we get back to the house, and Bill's taking a nap on the couch, and I'm sitting there watching a Seattle Seahawks game. And so I go over and wake Bill up and go, Bill, come on, let's go. He said, no, he says, I don't want to drive all the way back over there. I said, well, look, let's just go to that farmer's field that we passed. Now, this was 1983, so you could do that kind of stuff if it wasn't posted. So finally got Bill up, went over, drove over, and he dropped me at one edge of the fields. And then he drove to the other one. And he drove a little Toyota Celica. So I walked through the fields. Well, there was this, and I say cliff. It is kind of a cliff. And it went up like 120, 150 feet. There were some trails on it. So I'm sitting at the corner thinking, well, why should I sit down here and just watch this part of the field? I could go up there and watch that field up there and the field down below. Seemed reasonable to me. I wasn't much of a deer hunter first weekend or first time I was ever out. So I walked up, got up there. Oh, side note, So when I called Bill on Friday night, he said, "Yeah, we can go. We can go deer hunting." He said, "But he said my Marlin 30-30." He said, "I took the scope off." He said, "I'll just put the scope back in on the same dust marks, and you'll just have to shoot high." I said, "Okay." So anyway, I walk up to the top of the hill, and that's Sunday afternoon, and I get up there about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I see this rock, and I go over and sit at the rock. So as I'm sitting on the rock, I can look down to the right and down to the left, and there's deer trails that go down the hill. So I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and now I'm left-handed, so I'm holding the rifle, and I looked over, and I looked way over, and I see this movement. Well, there's this bunch of brush, and I see this buck. Didn't know how big he was. I saw antlers is all I saw. So I kind of get up and turned over and laid on my stomach, and he walked just as he walked behind this bunch of brush. And I remember Bill said, "Shoot high." So sure enough, he walks over, he comes out from behind the brush, and I line up, I pull the trigger. Well, I'm looking at the scope. I don't see anything. I drop the gun. I look. I don't see anything. I jump up and I'm looking, and all I can see is the deer doing this. The whole front of the half. He's up. So I cocked the rifle again and shot again when I hit him in the shoulder. Oh, that was funny. About 100, 110 yards or so. So I get over there, and I'm just, first deer ever. 10-point, 225-pound whitetail. Well, I managed to drag it over to the edge of the hill, threw my rifle over my shoulder, and of course, going downhill wasn't a big deal. Got it all the way down the hill, and Bill came over. He said, "Oh wow, you got to be kidding me!" And I said, "Yeah." So we dragged it through the field. We got over to the car, and now we're looking at the trunk, going like, we're going to put this 225-pound deer in the trunk of a Toyota Celica. A Corolla, I'm sorry, it was a Toyota Corolla. Not much difference in trunk space, trust me. I wish we'd have gotten a picture of that, but we didn't. Feet hanging out on one corner, antlers, head hanging out the other, tied down the lid, drove to the house. We pulled in the driveway, and we didn't know how to gut the deer. Bill had a neighbor, Carrie, who lived across the street, was a deer hunter. And we figured we'd get it home and we'd do all that. Well, Bill didn't have any big trees in the front lawn. So we took it in the garage. Mary Ann had a fit. Anyway, we put big old tarp down on the ground, jacked the deer up. Carrie came over, took care of the deer. I'll provide a picture in the comment section along with this video. And that's how we figured it was 225. Bill and Mary Ann they had this butcher in Spokane that they would order a half a beef from. Well, he took care of deer during the fall season. So we took it in, and of course, we had to get rid of the guts. And we took the big old bag of guts in, and it came out 225 pounds. I'm telling you, that my first deer ever. And I'm privileged because that's the first deer ever, and my first concert ever was Elvis. Another story. We'll tell you that one later. So to this date, Mr. Bucky hangs on the wall. Proud of him. I still have that 30-30. I've shot many a coyotes. I've shot a couple bobcats with it. Shot a mess of deer with it. Shot 2 hogs with it down in South Carolina. Unfortunately, I'm in Niagara County, New York, and it's shotgun only up here with slugs. And I shot my first New York deer 3 years ago up here. So This year they're passing the law. We hope they've passed it now. Governor Hochul. Governor Hochul's got to sign it yet. So there you go. First deer ever. I can't tell you the exact date, but I think it was November something in 1983. Oh, so I took it to the. Hang on a second. All right, so I had to turn the tag around barely. He scored a 148 and 4/8 at the Inland Game Show of Washington State. He was the largest deer in eastern Washington taken in 1983. That's my deer story. Lucky shot. I hit him in the backbone is what happened. And that's why he was able. So I didn't know. Like I said, when I jumped up and saw him doing that, I ran about 20 yards, shot again, and, well, he's on the wall. Okay, folks, we'll catch you later. Have a good one.